Welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure. Lost World is kind of a huge stage. As of this recording, I'm not sure where I'm going to put Metal Sonic. If he's going to be a bonus video, am I going to put him in this video with Metal Sonic? This video comes out to 17 minutes 43 seconds, and 7 of those minutes are Metal Sonic, even though, like, I edited it down and cut out most of the time I spent dying, and somehow got 3 extra minutes in there. Anyway, this opening chamber, if you've ever played Burning Rangers, there's a very similar chamber right at the end where there's that thing in the middle and the 2 stairways on the side. I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's an homage, maybe Sonic Team is unoriginal, I don't know. Anyway, so in Sonic's version of Lost World, you get very fast, very straightforward parts, broken up by very time-consuming platformy parts. And this opening running part I really like. I really like the, you got the pipe you run through, and then there's burning bits just jutting out of it, and it's very satisfying if you pull it off, and it's also very satisfying to note that it's hanging out in space. And it's also very satisfying when you screw the camera up and you end up with this. But there's no danger in this hallway, so never mind. Anyway, that was a very satisfying part to run through. Nice, Sonic. But, all of the other fast parts are not so. Like, they're really boring. There's no challenge to them. And you know this is going to be a bad stage when they give you speed shoes at a really terrible time. In general, this stage likes to put you in very big chambers, and it looks very impressive. It's very fun just to look around and like, wow, we're about to walk into a giant snake head. How friggin' cool is that? But what's not friggin' cool is that we're gonna have to ride a snake across the water. Oh, great. So, when the stage slows down and gets platformy, it makes you deal with a puzzle. And note that I'm saying puzzle with very strong air quotes. And, I mean, I swear, even though you can't see them, I'm making the air quotes, and they're very exaggerated. And it's pretty funny, actually. You should be laughing. So yeah, you have to press the switches to raise the water level, and then press different switches to unlock the door. And it's just boring. Like, I don't mind switches and stuff. They can be used well. Like in Amy's version of Twinkle Park, there's the 5 switches at the opening, and you go around and hit them. And those are fun because the entire time you're trying to dodge Zero, you're trying to dodge the monkeys throwing bombs at you. It's very filled with danger, and, the fact that you have to wait around for stuff, or the fact that you have to hang around and hit stuff, puts you in more danger. But here, you just gotta wait for a snake to go around, and the only danger is that you're impatient and you'll try to spin dash jump to make a shortcut, and then you'll die, and things will take even longer. I don't know. I get what they were going for, but that doesn't mean it's any fun. Yeah, it's kind of painful to have to ride the snake back over to the last switch when the door is right there. I also just noticed that the electric shield does not go away in water, but it does in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Ah, go figure. It's also possible to slip off the snake. It's happened once or twice to me, but in general you can just trust that Sonic will stay on, that the guardrails will work. Looking at how fidgety it is, I don't feel like trusting it. So, well, right here we get another fast part, and then we're gonna have to line up mirrors, and, I mean, it's a quote-unquote puzzle. Also, look at this! This is not what it looks like outside. And it's certainly not what it looks like in the past. Like, in the past, it's... Yeah, And during neither time period does it look like Mystic Ruins is nearly that big, or there's nearly so many ruins around. That's just a really strange view. I think it's, I don't know, it's interesting, but that's all there is to it. Well, that's fine in and of itself. It's an interesting discussion piece. Anyway. So yes, lining up mirrors is not a challenge, and you're gonna die here from impatience more than anything. Anyway. What I meant when I said, I know what they were going for, is that, like, I feel like Sonic Team wanted to have a really big labyrinth level where you just felt like you were lost in this Indiana Jones setting. I mean, there's even the boulder that chases you. What is this, Crash Bandicoot? Huh? And they pull it off. Like, the stage, I think, is much longer than it needs to be to get across its gameplay ideas, but it's still, like, because it's overly long, it feels really big, and because you have to do so much waiting around and so much busy work, it feels like, I don't know, there's a certain oppressive feeling to it. Also, I don't know if this is a bottomless pit here, or if it's okay to fall. I've never had occasion to find out, and, yeah, I guess we'll continue not finding out. So even if the stage isn't fun, I think, well, they got what they were going for. It's kind of sad that the hardest fast part is at the very beginning, even though the most impressive fast part, like, look, wow, this is so cool, comes right at the end. So this last puzzle is certainly the biggest one, or I guess longest, but it's also purely cosmetic, and there's no puzzle solving to do. Also, let's look up here. Is the item box? No, the item box is not there. Well, whatever. Anyway, so the gimmick here, as you probably remember, is that you hit switches until blocks happen to move around in a line, and when they're all in a line, it's like they complete a circuit or something, because then they all light up and you can walk on them. And what is this, Twilight Princess? Wait a minute. I already... Never mind. I'm just going to compare Sonic Adventure to every game in this video, aren't I? So this gimmick at least looks cool. It slows you down because it's a little weird to control Sonic when he's on a wall. But it's definitely not like the mirrors where you have to stop and aim. And it's not like the snake where you have to stop and wait for the snake to come around. So the lack of waiting combined with the, like, just, it's a cool idea to walk on walls. I really like that. Makes this the most tolerable part of the stage. Still though, at the end of the day, it's mostly just walking around. It actually, it reminds me a lot of Sandopolis Zone, the second act. In that, well, the difference though, is that Sandopolis Zone, like, you had to race against, like, timed switches and stuff. And I hate timed switches, don't get me wrong, timed switches are just the worst thing in gaming ever. Don't put timed switches in your games, please. Especially if Zelda is in the name. But, anyway, my point was, Sandopolis Act 2 still had a sense of speed to it, because you would have to rush through to get through before the door closed and the time switched was over. And, like, the switches even had a point, like, you would have to press them again if you failed and weren't fast enough. So, I guess what you're left with are two choices. You can either have easy quote-unquote puzzles that are kind of boring, like in Lost World here, or you can have Sandopolis style puzzles where they're demanding and interesting, but also very frustrating. In terms of structure, I guess I can appreciate that Sonic Adventure has Lost World. It's certainly a unique stage. It rounds out the course set, but well, in order to have a well-rounded course set, I guess it just figures that there's going to be courses I don't like. I included this bit up ahead because what we're about to see, I mean, probably not going to LP Sonic Adventure 2, but still. The mural on this wall is very important for the Sonic Adventure 2 story. I'd argue it's not, imperative to understand Sonic Adventure 2's story, but it certainly makes some suggestions that help the thought process in realizing what Sonic Team was going for. And I realize that may not be all that necessary because Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 have kind of shallow stories, but... well, when you're 15 years old, you don't really get things too often, so stuff like this helps you out. Anyway, looking at the timer, I think we'll leave Metal Sonic for next time, so see you then!